Oh, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said, shut up.
Hello, hi. So I'm going to give you a little glimpse into the world of Snapchat, and I promise to keep it real. So here is where we are. We decided to engage with Snapchat. We were an initial launch partner for Discover with Food Network. We receive about 10.5 million global users a month. Most of this was really attractive to us, honestly, because of the audience. If you look at the ages of 18 to 34, 71% of those are an audience that, of course, that we are coveting. And it was female, and it was millennials all day, and that's really where the Food Network brand is headed. Here's a little snippet of actually, I'm going to give you a sample of actually what we produce every single day. So I'll call these daily packages. The first example I'm going to show you is really from last week. We publish about 14 pieces of content per day on this platform. Most of them are original. We do repurpose all of this content for other platforms as well. But what you'll see here is an example. You'll see a couple of video clips. Those came from TV, and they were edited specifically for Snapchat. Everything else that you see was originally created for Snapchat, and I will let it go until I think that we've spent too much time on it. But you get a sense of what we produce every day.
I had cake before. I love the idea of taking a dessert, or like a cake, and turning it into cake. We're going to start with 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 4 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder.
So this is the salad I've been telling you about, the meat-free taco salad. Throw in a couple of poblano peppers, nice medium heat level pepper, right on the stove top over the burner, already browned.
So you get the idea, but largely this is a lot of content that we're producing every single day. Some of it comes from TV. The majority of it, though, is created by our staff. We have everything from our Food Network kitchens, which also reports into my team, where we have a culinary team that is literally creating a recipe that we will shoot, we will edit, and we will publish to Snapchat. So one of the biggest things for us is it has moved us into has moved us into really a daily cycle of publishing. I'm also going to give you another example of what we do with allowing TV talent or large YouTube talent to come in and do a takeover for a day. This is a great example of how Snapchat's been really fascinating for us to understand how talent have really cared about whether or not we have a Snapchat platform, what we're doing with it. Alton Brown, surprisingly, is one of the highest talent that resonates with millennials. So we've hired and paid for some really fabulous YouTube talent that are a fraction of his age to come onto our platform, and they don't have nearly the same appeal. So what we've learned is that millennials love Alton Brown just like I do, I'm not a millennial. And you'll get a great sense of just some of the content that Alton produced specifically for us for Snapchat. And here's a great example of us getting to kind of work with Alton in a different way, where he said, let me give you a little look into what happens with my own refrigerator. He normally would not do that with TV.
Hi, food fans. Alton Brown here, sabotaging Food Network's Snapchat all day long. You might want to take your seats and strap in, because these things will probably get
Hello? Anyway, working on a book late night, and so there's some stuff in here that you wouldn't work early. See, for instance, I've got my fiery ginger ale concentrate. That's going to be the next book. I've got some of what I call my cocktails.
scenes from my favorite holiday ingredients episode, Cracked Open, about friends. It's not actually a holiday show. It's about one.
It's a paper plate. Yes, you may use these things at picnics. I use them in the kitchen all the time. They're great liners for scales, so that you know your scale thing. And when I
So Alton created all of that content specifically for us to use on Snapchat, and then we surrounded it with a lot of other content that we created as well that we pulled from our library. So let me give you a little bit about some of the realness that I'm speaking about and what Snapchat has taken from just a sense of workload and from our team. First of all, it is a ton of work. For us, we're an established media company. We have a ton of resources. We have video libraries that are huge. We have 500,000 recipes. We also have a magazine. So there's a lot of things for us to draw from, yet what we found is when we repurposed a ton of content and just put it on Snapchat, it didn't work. So we hired a great editor within our team, elevated her to be the editor-in-chief of Snapchat. We pulled together a team of 8 people. Most of those people are designers or animators. They're always looking at taking our kind of content and manipulating it and making it work for the Snapchat platform. But for me, this is probably the most surprising platform that we've worked on. Out of all the work that I've done across multiple media brands this many years into the business, I was definitely surprised. I estimated during our budget season 2 heads, and now we're really around 8 every single day. Fast. The speed in which we are expected to produce and turn around content and to be relevant is really more like a newsroom. I have a newsroom background. This is really where you take a magazine or a media company that does long lead time like TV, and you're asking us to turn around and do daily publishing, just like you would see in CNN, and those two things marry together. It's a very different world. So fast was something that we've done very well, but it is definitely a big change to the pace in which we're producing. The other big one for us is really about just what it means to take a brand that's already established, like Food Network, and make sure it resonates with the younger audience. So for us, I think that was probably the biggest takeaway, is being able to say, what can we learn about our brand? What we would do on Facebook is also very different than what we do on Snapchat and what we do on our websites. So for us, we really just kind of had to step back and say, what does an 18-year-old want from us, and what does a 20-year-old want from us, and how is that different from a 30-year-old? And then this is probably the part that honestly was the biggest surprise. We are, once again, an established brand. We have a lot of brand equity. A lot of times partners are coming to us and asking us to work with them, and we're determining whether to engage or not. And that definitely is still the case with Snapchat. But I think one of the things that was so surprising is that every single day it feels like you're earning your place and you're earning your right to be their partner, and vice versa. So for us, I think when you go into Snapchat, they are almost approaching their business. It's very similar to, for anyone that's been in the TV business for a very long time, what it was like a long time ago when you're trying to get a slot on a dial. So a slot on a dial for a cable network, it was very important. It's a big piece of real estate. No one wanted to lose that, and you wanted to be one of the first. And so when it comes to Snapchat, I feel like there's a little bit of that same mentality of that they have a small amount of space. You, as a publisher, are trying to determine whether or not it's really worth all the work and all the effort, if you're going to make enough money to cover your cost. But you're thinking about what is the future of that real estate worth, and how much is that audience worth 5 years down the road. And then I would say the last piece is for our company and for our digital business. We have a group of about 100 in our digital operations that really works on content across not just Food Network, but HGTV and Travel Channel. And this has been really transformative. It's completely changed the way we think. It's allowed us to hire a different skill set of people, and it's allowed us to really attract and keep a different level of talent by allowing people to participate and work on Snapchat. It's also been a huge, I think a huge piece of us being able to bring in better and more regular digital talent. So I think overall, if I had to grade whether I would do it again, on most days I would say yes. So just to kind of say, and the 3 key takeaways before Brian comes back up and asks us a couple questions is really about just, you'll have to work very hard and very differently if you were to have a Discover channel on Snapchat. And I definitely think that for most companies, it changes the way you approach what you do. Your brand will evolve, and this is the big part. You will absolutely be better for it. If we did not work with Snapchat starting today, our company would be much better for what it did for overall the way we think about our digital business, how we start to think about content marketing, and where we start to see how the world is evolving. And then last, I think it truly is survival of the fittest. So for Snapchat themselves, and for those on the platform, it'll be an interesting ride to see where it is a year from now. But I think these are kind of the biggest opportunities that we see with Snapchat, and hopefully it gives you a little insight. I'll ask Brian to come back out and see if he has any more questions.
Excellent. That was great work. So yesterday we had Kim Lau up here from The Atlantic, and she said, yeah, jury's still out on instant articles. Is the jury still out on Snapchat Discover as a business opportunity?
Yes, I think it is. I think the jury is still out. I mean, personally, I think they'll make it. I think they will. I've seen a lot over the years, and you always make your own personal hit list or your bets about, well, I think this one will make the turn. I think it will. I think the question is, how will it materialize? How quickly will it materialize? And then what will the business look like afterwards? But there's a lot that still needs to happen, I think, for it to live up to its full potential.
And you're selling your own ads there.
We do, and then Snapchat also sells ads as well.
Do you think in the future it's going to mostly be Snapchat sold ads?
I don't think so. I mean, it depends on maybe the business and the company where you're coming from. For us, we're selling things across the multiple platforms, whether that's TV, digital, magazine. We're selling across, Facebook, sometimes YouTube. So I think that really for us, it would be a part of what we offer because that's what people would expect from us, our advertisers. But I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out as a general playbook for them.
So, were you surprised at how much resources it took?
I was blown away. I really was. I sat in a budget meeting and said there's no way that us creating content like this on a daily cycle and what is expected of us for us to be successful will require more than 2 or 3 people. And clearly, I had to go back and get some crow and ask for more resources. And I think still today we would question sometimes whether or not we're properly staffed to really be effective. So
you might actually need more people.
I don't think we would do more people. I think that it's just, what it's really been is a constant revisiting. Do we have the right skill sets? Do we have the right people? And one of the biggest changes for us is, very quickly into this, one of the most important decisions I think that we made is we had a lot of higher end executive people trying to help develop this platform, and we kind of took a time out and we picked one of our bright and young editors and put her in a position and empowered her, and she came back within 60 days with a completely different view of what we needed, and it was spot on. So I think what we really learned here is this is a platform that needed to be developed for millennials by millennials.
Okay.
We're in a very unique position where probably 75% of our editorial staff is millennial women under 35, between 25 and 35. So we're in a great position to do that. But
so you got all the old people out of the room.
We got all the old people out of the room, me included, and I think it helped a lot.
All right, I want to open up for questions. I say that as an old person. It's fine. Yeah. Wait, there's one here, and then we'll go.
Thanks. This is really cool. I like how you're doing the vertical video with like Alton in the refrigerator and stuff.
Yeah.
That worked really well. Is that tough, given that like you're not really able to repurpose that vertical video anywhere else afterwards? And then kind of separate but related, what sort of metrics are you getting back from Snapchat to like judge if this is successful for you too, given like you're putting a lot of resources and work into it, like you're saying?
Yeah, so on the first part, what we usually do out of the gate when we started this off, we didn't think about what other platform. We were just trying to survive, to get enough content up and every single day to make it work. We very quickly, though, realized that we needed to think about it differently. So anytime we shoot a video now, we shoot a video vertically and horizontally. That way we can use it for another platform. And I think that what this has helped is, we've very aggressively also engaged with increasing our amount of video we publish to Facebook and just how much we publish to Instagram. And so in many ways, this has been a catalyst for us being able to just produce a lot more quality. The content and the data that we get back from Snapchat, look, they're a startup. They give us as much data, I think, that almost as much as we'd like. Never quite as quick or as organized. And I think that's just, it's not for a lack of trying. I think that we've seen massive improvements. And we do understand a lot more about 6 months in, about where's the drop off from snap to snap, what really works. We've really worked with them, and we had weekly meetings at one point. At one point we were even into a daily cycle of meetings with them to really start to understand how to make the content work. And that's ultimately what they want. They ultimately want us to know inside and out how their platform works.
Okay, one more, and then.
I had a question on vertical video as well. Like ESPN, when we're working with Snapchat, it's challenging with sports because of how quickly everything moves. I'd love to kind of get your take on any sort of best practices or tips or tricks on how you're producing vertical video and how you kind of made it work.
Yeah, it's very low tech. In the Alton example, Alton created that himself. But he's unique. He's a special talent, and he understands digital media probably just as well as anyone in this room. But for most of our talent, most of our stuff is shot in studio or shot in location. It's very lo-fi for us. We use iPads on stands. We have the Food Network kitchen. We have an entire culinary team where we're stepping over while people are cooking. literally and shooting stuff with you know, I think what happened is we took a TV mentality to this early on, and we very quickly said this is as digital as it gets, and all we really need are our iPhones, and you know, maybe some other specific things added to them, some very small cameras, and we even converted a studio, specifically a conference room specifically into a studio, so that we didn't have to even use our big real studio, so we could shoot a lot of this stuff.
Okay. Yes. Awesome.
Real quick, is it profitable, or do you have a roadmap to see that it's actually working and making money? Because it's nice,
Yeah.
but
I mean, it's definitely, and we took the stance as a company that this was an investment we were going to make for this platform. Today, it's not profitable now. Do I think it will be? I think that this will be a very interesting year, and I think it very well could be. We'll see. Yeah.
Okay. Time will tell, as they say. Thank you very much, Vicki.
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Okay, and now